You know me already. I'm the chair of your local trust committee, and it's a pleasure to be here today from Tevis Island. We also have Linda Adams with us today, our Chief Executive Officer, and she's going to be speaking with us later. And of course, you know David and Louise and Patty. So the island, this is about the Community Stewardship Awards, which is a really great honor to be able to find these people and recognize them for the work that they do. The Islands Trust Council selects the recipients for the 9th Annual Community Stewardship Award during its quarterly meeting on Saturna on June the 17th. 6 nominated projects include climate change education, land conservation leadership, and a Young People's Garden mentorship program. These awards recognize individuals and groups for significant contributions towards preserving the community culture or environment of the island. The award program is designed to promote the mandate of the Islands Trust by celebrating the dedicated people who have donated countless hours to enhancing the quality of life in the Trust. Once again this year, the diverse nature of the work of the nominees and the quality of the projects in which they have been involved was outstanding. In fact, this year we gave 2 additional awards for enduring achievement, as well as a new category recognizing and encouraging the actions of individuals and organizations that are working in the area of climate change. So the 2 additional Enduring Achievement Awards went to John Guy in Saturna Island for his contribution to the vitality of the Saturna Island community life, and Sylvia Pincock of North Pender Island for preservation of the Pender Island environment. The Climate Change Award went to Dorothy Cutting of Salt Spring Island for the West Coast Climate Equity website and her climate change education work. The individual awards went to Tekla Deverall of North Pender Island for her gardening mentorship program and for young people, and to Patty Willis of Denman Island for preservation of the Denman Island environment. My pleasure. Wonderful plaque recognizing your outstanding work for Denman Island.
Thank you. I'm going to put it in my doctor's office because I'm going to become a doctor.
About the award and Patty, I just mentioned that in the past, Denman Island has done well with these awards, and that Jenny Balk received an award in 2003. The Denman Conservancy Association got honorable mention in 2005, and last year we were pleased to give Pat McLaughlin the award on Denman Island. Now Patty has been involved in this activity for some 40 years. Remarkable to be involved that long. She's played a key role in island-wide conservation work. In the 80s, she worked to help preserve Denman Crown lands, including co-authoring a study that led to the enlargement of Boyle Park. Patty worked with Wellwood staff to protect the forest from irresponsible campers. Later, as one of the leaders of the DERA Forestry Committee, she met many times with representatives of the John Hancock Company in carefully orchestrated attempts to promote sustainable logging. Patty also served on the board of the Denman Conservancy Association for 10 years, including 4 years as co-chair. Increasingly over this time, she directed her efforts to conservation covenants. This award acknowledges her recent work writing the 2 covenants protecting the Danes Creek headwaters at the north end of the island. So I think that my co-trustees would like to say a couple of words, and Patty would like to say something also.
I'll go quickly because I probably don't have as much to say. I've been on the island for 17 years and quite busy for the first part, but Patty Willis's name was always evident in the newspapers or in conversations as such a strong, vibrant, passionate protector of this island and, in fact, the world at large as far as her interests are concerned. And this award obviously speaks to that, about her respect for the island and its special places, but also everybody here shows the amount of respect that we have for your work and the work that you've been doing. And of course, being a trustee, we may take all the glory, but really all the work is done by volunteers like yourselves who are out there preserving and protecting every day. Couldn't possibly be done by administrative staff in Victoria or trustees on our island. It's all us, and in particular Patty, so thank you, Patty.
I'm just delighted to receive this honor, Patty. And the story that I would tell of Patty goes back to when I was first coming to this island, and I hadn't actually moved onto the island, and I saw Patty's photograph in the record with a piece about the Denman Island Peace Group. And so I contacted her, and I have watched all of the things that she has done since then, including the Peace Group, which is still an important part of your life, and for which she's organizing events on Friday. And I'm just always in awe. And the thing also that I would say about the kind of work that Patty does, she doesn't step away from the hard work. There are lots of us who go to meetings and, we know how to make coffee and that kind of thing. But to actually spend those hours doing the research and writing out those documents, and in particular the work that you have done on conservation covenants so that you now are an expert and able to write them, that's the kind of work that really deserves tremendous credit. And so congratulations again, Patty. Thank you.
Traffic, yeah. Louise advised me that I could go anywhere along the spectrum from giving you a polite thank you to a long speech. I'm not going to do the long speech.
Oh, no, do it.
Sandy will fill in for me. So the initial embarrassment about being singled out for this, I am a middle child, I like to slip between the cracks, I don't like too much attention, has given way to an opportunity to look at what is the significance of this award. And it comes at an interesting time for me in my life. I turned 65 a couple of weeks ago, and last week it marks 40 years being on the island. So now I have that kind of longer-term perspective on things, which is one of the benefits of older age. I do recommend it to you. There are other things we won't go into. The fact that I'm wearing glasses to read this. So there's three things that this award speaks to me about. It speaks to me about the power of small acts. It speaks to me about the power of collectivity, and it speaks to me about the power of persistence. In 1970, when I came here and the population was somewhere around 125, there were no conserved lands really except for Longley, and we didn't really have to think about it at that point. But we started to watch what was happening to the islands to the south of us. We started to feel the Comox Valley Empire pressing in, and we knew we better get cooking on this, or we were going to lose it. So it was one meeting at a time, it was one bake sale at a time, it was one letter at a time, it was one newspaper article at a time, and it was the power of these many small voluntary acts that over the years, in a steady way, accumulated to now allow us to have almost 10% of Denman Island preserved either in park or in nature reserve, and there may be more to come. But it's also the cumulative effect of your neighbor's work that stopped a raw sewage from being dumped off of Comox with a free flow down Bain Sound. It stopped a huge industrial complex by McMillan Bodell that was going to be just south of the Buckley Bears ferry landing in that sweet little bay there. It stopped the meadow in Forlongley Park from being chopped up into RV sites by the Ministry of the Parks and their wisdom. And those are just a few. But it's I want to say too, it's of course those small acts, that same power that will now be stopping a coal mine in the Beaufort. Though I've struck out solo on a lot of projects over the years, it is the power of collective action that has accomplished these benefits for Denman Island. I have had the great fortune of being in incredible company for the past 40 years. Also, I did not invent the wheel, nor did I reinvent it. I know that I stand on the shoulders of those who have done this work before me, and of course I think of my good friend and mentor, Hillary Brown. Though my particular name is on this plaque, I am well aware that this work is first and foremost a collective endeavor. Now, the power of persistence is my strongest suit. I don't give up in the belief that small acts and collective action can move mountains, or in the case of Raven, to stop mountains from being moved. Where's my son-in-law?
Here.
Oh, hey.
With the camera.
He asked me this morning, what's the secret of doing this work? And I told him, I'm now going to reveal it. I am among those who persist in social change work despite its often latent, invisible, and long-term results, because I've developed what I call a helpful conceptual filter. That is, the capacity to reinterpret apparent failure into positive feedback. That is, what might appear to an outsider to be a failure can be reinterpreted by me as a sure sign of future success. So I plod on. Persistence is critical in the work that we do. Bill Turner of the Land Trust Alliance Association, he says that the only lands that they weren't able to save or the projects that didn't bear fruit were the ones that they gave up on. An important lesson, I think about it often. Finally, I'm particularly proud to receive this award from the Islands Trust, which has received a considerable amount of heat this summer. I was here before the Islands Trust was a twinkle in someone's eye, and I can assure you that without the support of the Trust, we would not have the island we love today. I fear that we would have become just another small suburb with our natural heritage eroded or at best highly manicured. Is the Islands Trust imperfect? Yes. It's a human endeavor. It's imperfect. But the Trust does something extraordinary. It challenges me to think beyond my personal circumstances, beyond my own little private piece of the island, beyond my hope for any particular personal gain, beyond my own entrenched preferences. It challenges me to think big, to think broad, to think future, and to think beyond myself. Ultimately, it challenges me to redefine who I am as a citizen, both in time and in space. Because it challenges it this way, the Trust is a good, if not sometimes strict, teacher. I am hopeful that we will continue to embrace the learning it affords us. I accept this award, then, as sort of a diploma for having perhaps learned a little about the big lesson. Thank you.